Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Akabodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who were well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of this video is The Calm Before the Storm. All right. And, as you know, the small hatters are not happy about the MOU, right, which is basically some type of peace agreement between the United States of America and Iran. And that's why I titled the video the calm before the storms, because we know exactly what the scriptures say. All right, and this is the Blue Letter Bible. It was I clicked it right here. I go in here and I was looking at this. It says the live map, so I guess this is all, because I'm looking at Iran and just different places like Russia and Greenland and things like that. Not too much popping over there. Maybe they're not subscribe to it, or they don't allow the information to be showed, or whatever the case may be. But I guess this is supposed to be like active users worldwide. I'm pretty sure like the dots, represent, a group of people or whatnot. I just thought it was interesting. That's all. But anyway, get into these scriptures here. Let's go to First Thessalonians 5, right, and 3. First Thessalonians 5, and starting in 1, it says, "But the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Right, and this has been, with this whole situation with the Iran war, back and forth. These devils have, basically cried peace, and then ultimately, was it changed their mind about it and went back to war. Right. Psalms 55:20 says, "He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." So when they say peace and safety with these different peace agreement, it says sudden destruction followed them. And that's, like I said, pretty much what has been happening. They will say, peace, and they go to the peace table and they're bombed, right? But ultimately, what I want to get into is the fact that a day like never before is coming, right? Let me get Daniel 12, because we're gonna get into this video here where Israel, or I guess a spokesman person for Israel is saying that something dangerous is coming, worse than 9/11, right? And that's a day like never before. All right, and that day is already brewing. As you can, what's been happening with the Ukraine and Russia war in recent is that Ukraine is cracking the oil facilities in Russia. People are making a big deal about it, but oil facilities around the whole world are being struck in places that war isn't even happening. Right, so a reset is what they're doing. Right, they're going to try to reset the world, to bring about this new world order, and that's going to be the day like never before. Because also, according to the Georgia Guidestones, which is something that you can look up, something written on that was the limit of people they wanted alive, right? And right now, the number of people is way over the number that they want, right? So what's coming is Jacob's trouble, a day like never before. Famines, death, pestilence, robbing one another, for the lack of bread, right? As Second Esdras chapter 15 and 16 goes into. People, once you get hungry, you can go outside and try to find some food. And if somebody else got some food, you're just gonna take it, even if it's not in you. You can be starving. You gonna do something about it. So that time is coming. So that's already there. That's already in the works. All right. So, and I say that because even if they don't do nothing, it's already set in motion. But they have to, pursuant to Jeremiah 50 and 45, it says the least of the flock will drag them out to the war and make their habitation desolate, with them. So there, something will happen to keep this war going. And even right now, Israel is saying that they don't care about the peace agreement or the deal or whatever it states. They're going to continue to do what they're doing, basically. And that already alone in itself is messing up what the agreement actually says. So there's that. This is Daniel 12 and 1. It says, at that time, right here, it says the time of the end. So this time is the end, which we are currently in. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, right? Which is angel, the archangel, right? It says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, that people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So the elect will be delivered out of this time. Let me grab slide here. Trying to think about the other scripture. Right. Jeremiah 30. Slide here. All right. Jeremiah 30 and starting at verse 5. It says, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and out of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man do travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned to paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, right? But he shall be saved out of it. So a time of trouble is going to come, It's going to be like nothing never before. And like I said, that situation is already in the works. Whatever Israel may or may not do is just it afford. It probably make it come quicker, right? And just add to what's already about to happen. Yeah. So really, the point is in 19 that I wanted, but we started 14 here. This is second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14 says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Let me make sure this is good over here. All right, it says, for there shall be sedition among men, which is the overthrowing of governments, and all around the world that's pretty much happening. Right, you got the Europe situation. People not happy with the Europe, as in the civilians. You got America, of course, king of events. You got even the uprising against, Israel. They're saying the guy in charge, the prime minister, isn't doing enough. They want to replace, all of this. It says, for there shall be sedition among men in invading one another. We got Cuba, we got Greenland, we got Venezuela, Ukraine, Iran. For there shall be sedition among men in invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Ultimately, the civilians, just taking it to the streets, taking it to the people. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's coming. All right. Like I said, the oil crisis, it goes into the oil, right? The fertilizer, even look, the data centers are taking the water away from the farmers. So the crops is a low yield to what you're used to. So even famines, food shortages and things like that. Not to mind you, they was already struggling before this event happened, back before. You had different disruptions that has led us to this point. At one point the Panama Canal, was like blocked or whatever, leaking water or something like that, blocked, and then you had a ship turn around on like blocking one area. So a lot of things has been happening. You had the tariffs, the trades, different foods wasn't getting in, different trade deals was cut. People went elsewhere. I think we got food from Argentina, like some meat or something, instead of getting it from where we used to get it from, so things is already bad. So it says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Right? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, which is in the making. Now we have this video here posted by the Jimmy Dore Show, which goes into the fact that this was a beautiful video here. I actually got to finish watching it, but you can check that video out right there. The Jimmy Dore Show posted this, which I didn't go and fact check it. I did see multiple people report on this already, and I'll go fact check it or whatever the case may be. But this lady here, Laura Loomer, basically says soon an attack is going to happen. She predicts, coming from Israel. Right? And we know what Jeremiah 50:45 says, that the least of the flock will draw them out. So you have this situation with America saying peace. And now all the small hatters around the world are like crying and upset, Jeremiah 50:45, and even Salaki, even other things are happening too. Seeing something with the allies. Some of the allies are not happy that Trump has stopped this war, which is interesting. I gotta look more into that. But everyone's complaining about stopping the war, but I guess not like how he stopped it, as in, giving them what they wanted. So, we have to look into it, but we know that the allies will turn on America also. So everybody's upset, basically. Jeremiah 50:45 says, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Avashai that he have taken against Babylon, which is America, and his purposes that he have proposed against the land of the Chaldeans." Right? America. Says, "Surely the least of the flock," these are the Israelis, right? "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them." And as you can see, America, Israel owns America, right? And Trump is to do the bidding of Israel, right? And if someone doesn't do what Israel wants, usually something bad always happens. You might get JFK, you might get CK, you might have towers exploding, you might have a terrorist attack or something. People start shooting up in your land, going to Australia, right? And sometimes they just do things, for other reasons. You have USS Liberty, even you have October 7th or 8th or 6th, and all of these shit, they went into the CVID situation, but a lot of these things have been proven or speculated more so now in these last days to be orchestrated by Mossad or the small hatters over there in the land of Israel. That's just what people are saying now, right? Because they're the fucking wicked of the earth. All right. So the least of the flock will draw them out, and making America's habitation desolate with them is what's going to happen ultimately. Especially if now they're all upset,
Gets a bit nervous when an agent of Everyone understandably gets a bit nervous when an agent of Israel starts predicting a major mass casualty terrorist attack on American soil just days after the American president announces a deal that enrages all of Israel. What's another way they could sabotage a peace deal with Iran? Another way is false flag. And now Larry Loomer, the mouthpiece of Israel, is actually predicting it. So she says, soon there will be a massive Islamic terror attack in America, and the perpetrators will likely have financial ties to podcasters and those who are sowing discord for foreign nations in America. That would be you.
That's the Rogan sphere.
That would be what Larry Loomer is doing. I predict there will be many casualties, and only then will it be set that the people have been conned into supporting a terrorist psyop to distract you from the threat of Islam. So what this is all about is that she's almost broadcasting that watch for a false flag coming from the Zionists.
Look at Julie Dory. We're going to read it up the top.
She says it will likely be 10 times worse than 9/11, which was also a false flag.
Which is also, why? Because you'll be dancing 10 times as hard to it, Israelis?
So Julian Dory says, It's the way this guy clearly wants an attack to happen that pisses me off more than anything.
It's my boy, Julian Doy. Hilarious.
So if I was a Jew, I would be furious at Larry Loomer and people like this, because now people see it coming. Now they know it's going to be a false flag, and this is what makes Jews less safe. When you predict stuff like this. Again, let's remember that Zionists got the Muslims and Christians, which are actually get along fine together, until Zionists made them think they were enemies. Muslims.
I'm going to grab Revelations. Chapter 6. So this person, Larry Loomer, I don't know if it's Larry or Lloyd, whatever, but says soon there will be a massive Islamic tea attack in America, and the perpetrators will likely have financial ties to podcasters. And a lot of podcasters like this guy himself here is exposing these devils. And that's why you hear things like Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War Crimes or whatever. He says things like he can't wait to these medias are bought out by the small hatters, like how Israel bought out TikTok, and went to say that these podcasters are spreading, information, and we need to try to, block that information by spreading good information, which he said on camera to the whole world. So they're upset with the podcasters. Says, again, soon there will be a massive Islamic tea attack in America, and the perpetrators will likely have financial ties to podcasters and those who are sowing discord for foreign nations in America. I predict there will be many casualties, and only then will it maybe set in that people have been conned into supporting
Revere Jesus. They revere the
psyops to distract you from the threat of Islam, while they plotted to destroy our country from within. Plotted conspiracy theories. Then she says it will likely be 10 times worse than 9/11. And these are the wicked, right? Who own the world, right? That's why they're able to say things like that and do things like the USS Liberty and 9/11 and JFK and all of these different things, and they're still talking that shit. Job 9:24 said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not, wherein is he? All right. So, it's pretty well known who the wicked is. This devil is being exposed. You get is it 2 Thessalonians 2? The man of lawlessness, right? So 2 Thessalonians 2:1 says, now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai, and by our gathering together unto him, right? So the elect are now, returning back to true understanding of who they are, right? It says that ye be not soon shaken in mind, for we troubled neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Yahweh Shai is at hand. Right? Again, a day never before. Says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. Right, so all the Israelites fell away from who they were. That's why before the 1960s, going to the 1970s, you didn't have the Israelites on the street corners, telling you that we're the Israelites, of the Bible. That never happened, right? Until the prophecy came to pass. It says, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, right? Who opposeth and exalts him above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sit up in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, right? And that's what these small hatters have done, put themselves above God. They're all on our land, whatnot. It says, remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. So the devil had to be, loose for a little season. He had to, embed himself basically into the world, into the system, and get to his position that he's currently at, to have the complete control that he has now, because the Most High is using this devil also to bring this day, because along with this day comes the great testing, which is the MOTB, right? That is going to try the whole world, which is this micro C hip, the mark of the beast, right? So he needed to be in a position that he's in to fulfill prophecy. And now he's been exposed, and he's not hidden anymore because he's good now, right? He did what he needed to do. The MOTB is ready. We can see that he's the fucking devil. He's gonna bring that ship now, and Yahushua comes and destroys him, right? That's how the story or cookie crumbles, basically. That's how it's written. It says, and now you know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until be taken out of the way. So, this devil was back then the Roman Empire, right? This is the revised Roman Empire. He's been doing what he's been doing, being wicked, setting up these schemes, plans, and all that to bring us to this day. And now we see. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord Yahweh Bashim shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. So guess what? The prophets are here allowing you to know who the wicked is. And now you can see. This is Hebrews 1. Let's go back here. Hebrews 1:1. Yahweh, who at sundry times in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. All right, so the prophets are back, right, telling you who the wicked is. If you didn't know, right, and now you should be able to see that that was wicked. Luke 1:70, it says, as he spake by the mouth of his prophets, of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. Again, the prophets are back, telling you, who the wicked is, and that was being revealed. That's why we're consuming him with the spirit of his mouth. The Lord is consuming him with the spirit of his mouth, which is his prophets, right? It says, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So he's gonna pull up and destroy the wicked. It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. All right, let me grab this Revelation 9 or 6. The Revelation 6:3. It says, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. This is the current rulers of the world, the small hatters. That's why they're able to post shit like this all over your news, and you podcasters go and read it to the world, and then nothing happens besides what they said might happen.
Mother Mary, who doesn't? This is what makes Jews less safe. When you predict stuff like this. Again, let's remember that the Zionists got the Muslims and Christians, which are actually get along fine together, till Zionists made them think they were enemies. Muslims revere Jesus. They revere the Mother Mary. Who doesn't? Judaism. So as we've shown you many times, if you go to Israel, they'll spit on Christians, and the people at the tippy top of government just say it's a tradition. So what this does is make Jews less safe. This makes people, so now if there is a false, so when a false flag,
that's the goal.
And so so as Kurt says, that's the goal, because that is the fuel for Zionism. The fuel for Zionism is to make Jews feel unsafe in other parts of the world, so they feel like they have to go to Israel to feel safe. That was the whole deal that they made with Hitler. Am I wrong about that, Kurt?
No, it's very obvious that's what they've been doing, and you can go look it up real easily, and there's plenty of Jews that talk about it, so.
Here's what Glenn Greenwald says about it. Everyone understandably gets a bit nervous when an agent of Israel starts predicting a major mass casualty terrorist attack on American soil just days after the American president announces a deal that enrages all of Israel. Who's not upset about this peace deal? Iran. Who's not upset about this peace deal? Shia Muslims, which are the people who populate Iran and run it. Those are the people who are not upset about this peace deal. In fact, they want it almost as much as Donald Trump wants it. He's desperate for this peace deal because he realizes he screwed up. He has no cards to play. Iran can shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which they've done. And we've now almost burned through all our reserve oil, which means that the economy is going to tank if he doesn't get a peace deal right now and open the Strait of Hormuz back up to oil traffic, because we burned through all our oil. And so it's exactly what is making Jews less safe is Israel. It's the irony of that Israel was invented so Jews had a safe haven. No, Israel was invented for maniac, bloodthirsty Zionists to go steal someone else's land. That's what it is about. It's not there to make sure Jews are safe. Jews are safe. Everybody I know in Florida, New York, Hollywood, they all feel very safe.
Right. Well, the rich
like that,
ones didn't want the poor ones around. They're very classist and racist, and they didn't want an influx of Eastern European Jews. So the Rothschilds, all them, like, get them all into this one place, and we'll use them as a.
Again, the Rothschilds. Rothschilds been mentioned a lot lately in these last days because these devils are being revealed. Rothschilds is the piggy bank. Right? They own all the money. They control the world. They funded the state of Israel. They are also small hatters. You know, they're Edomites. They're Amalekites. Right? And they run the world. And these devils are being exposed. All right, that's why they keep. I'm hearing a lot. I'm hearing Rothschild a lot. I believe Jared Kushner and his wife, whatever, was on the boat with a Rothschild when they discovered that island over there in Albania.
Colonial outpost, and they can be cannon fodder like the rest of like the Goy are cannon fodder, and so are the other Jews. To your up there, Larry Ellison don't live in Israel, does he? Not to my knowledge, and the Rothschilds don't live there. They got streets named after them. They don't live there. None of these rich motherfuckers live there.
So there you have it. Again, if I was a Jew, I would be furious at Israel. I would be furious at Benjamin Netanyahu. I'd be furious at people like Larry Loomer and people who are going to do a false flag. Because
Jews are. Manny Patinkin's steaming mad. The guy from the Princess Bride is very upset.
Is he?
Israel, yeah. To his credit, he's like really, he looked like he was foaming in the mouth about it. I don't blame him.
That's what makes Jews less safe. Israel everyone understandably gets a bit nervous when an agent of Israel starts predicting a major mass casualty terrorist attack on American soil just days after the American president announces a deal that enrages all of Israel. What's another way they could sabotage a peace deal with Iran? Another way is false flag. And now Larry Luber,
That's what we grab. Go out of your shot. Isaiah 32 and 5. But like you see how open, you know, and matter of fact, get Revelation 12 too. They're just blatantly posting some shit online like that. You know, Revelation 12 and 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil, which is the deceiver, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he know he have but a short time. Who deceive you into believing that they're more moral, right? They're righteous, that they're the Israelites. Who did that? Because Isaiah 32 and 5, the vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the troll said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord Yahweh, Bashmi Shai, to make empty the souls of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments also of the troll are evil. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. All right, so these devils currently in power, and they cooking up something, it seems. And so just, you know, blowing the trumpet on that, Lord willing, you edify from the lesson. Shalom to the hope to elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.